Really proud of the offensive line, next man up mentality. We've now lost 3 starters, all in offensive tackle. We lost Mann, Nelson, Palmer, and a backup in Sorrell. If you count him, there's 4 offensive tackles. So I'm really proud. Bates hadn't taken a rep at tackle since he's been here, and we moved him out last week and really did a nice job for us. So I'm proud of the mentality that we had at linebacker earlier in the year when we faced some adversity and some challenges, and same thing on the offensive line right now. So I'm really proud of Coach Linegrover and that entire unit. We do have a little bit of an injury situation going on now, kind of throughout the whole year. We've lost Brendan Mann, as you guys know, hasn't been playing the last couple of weeks. We'll see how that goes. We've lost Paris Palmer for the season, Andrew Nelson for the season, Chance Sorrell, career has ended. Jan Johnson out for the season, Naeem Wortman-White out for the season, Jason Varanek out for the season, Jake Cooper out for the season, Brandon Polk out for the season, and Nick Bowers out for the season. So guys have handled the adversity really well. Supported those guys and handled the adversity.
Good afternoon, James. How are you?
Good, Rich. How are you, buddy?
I'm well, thanks. James, because he's on the depth chart, do you expect Connor McGovern to play Saturday? And have you decided to lift the red shirt for Will Fries or Michael Menet? And if so, what went into those decisions?
Connor, it's too early in the week to make that decision. We have all week long to figure that out, and then obviously it also helps it with it being a 8 o'clock night game on the front end. Not real excited about coming back, not getting back here till late at night, but on the front end, it does give us a little bit more time to get some guys healthy and ready to go. So it's too early to say on that. I did bring Michael Menet and Will Fries into my office. That conversation went really well. Both those young men and their families are perfectly comfortable with us doing whatever we have to do to win and put the team first. So that conversation went really well. On a side note, it also was great just to see those 2 guys sitting in my office because they look beautiful. They have gotten big and strong and matured, and sometimes I think when you see them with the rest of the guys like I do, there's just a bunch of big human beings you don't realize, but when you get kind of up close to them, they're 2 good-looking young players that we're excited about their future. We are not at this point doing anything. Will Fries would be the guy that's probably a little bit closer to Michael Menet, not from a readiness standpoint, but more just our real need is at offensive tackle. Michael Menet could play tackle, but he's probably more suited inside and Will outside. So we'll see how it plays out. You'd love to be able to keep those guys as red shirts if you possibly can, but just the way this thing has been playing out, you never know, and we want to be prepared for it. So those guys will be up with varsity and get a bunch of reps.
When you look at Rutgers, what concerns you about Rutgers? What can they do that can cause problems for you?
Well, I think they're a talented team that's, with a new coaching staff and all the changes that come with that, which I can relate to. There's an adjustment period that goes on, and there's going to come a point where it clicks for them. Obviously, they got really, really good coaches. Actually, one of their coaches, Jafar Williams, played for me. Was a wide receiver for me at the University of Maryland. They got a really good staff. They got really good people. And they got talent, so it's, at some point it's going to click for them. Offensively, they're really multiple, whether it's empty, whether it's unbalanced, whether it's what we call FSL, formation into the sideline, a lot of different things that they do to try to cause conflict, and they do it all from similar personnel groups. Defensively, they're one of the better teams in the country in defending the pass. On special teams, obviously they lost one of the better return men in the country, kick return, punt return, and that's had an effect on them. So I think this is a team that is waiting for kind of the light to go on for them and have their moment. And they got all the pieces of the puzzle to be successful. As we know, the environment there was real tough for us to play in last year. 2 years ago, excuse me. So, and then obviously there's a lot of familiarity between both programs. There's a lot of kids in their program that know our players and vice versa. So we had a lot of players in our team from the state of New Jersey. It's been a great state to Penn State for a long time. It will continue to be that, and that factors into it as well.
I'm hoping this isn't the question that lets you say Rutgers 15 straight times, but I'm just not sure. But Saturday was a wild day in college football. What does it say to you about the appeal of college football just in general, that you can have a wild day like that, all kinds of different games, all kinds of crazy upsets, and this late in the year, a lot of people are talking about the sport the way they are?
Yeah, so you got two choices here, Corey. You got silence, uncomfortable silence, or you have Rutgers. Which one would you prefer?
Hey, you can answer it either any way you want. I thought it was a pretty general question.
No, it's a good question. You got to answer it. But again, these big picture things about, yeah, it's a great question, and I understand you got to answer it. But these big picture things about what's going on in college football, what's going on around the country, how crazy it is, politics, we're going to focus on the things that we can control. That's not one of them. So our focus in our locker room was make the corrections from Saturday, and then we're moving on to Rutgers. So uncomfortable silence, Rutgers. Uncomfortable silence, Rutgers.